Hello, everyone. We are so excited for you to be here tonight for this redo makeup class that we tried to do on Tuesday night that wasn't so successful. And I'm so excited that Carly and Victoria were gracious to come back and try this again with me and my audience. And I'm so thankful for all of you guys for being incredibly gracious. I know that Tuesday was very frustrating. It was very frustrating to us, but I can't even imagine how frustrating it was to show up to this class and have it not work. And so we are excited to be back, and we're hoping that everything goes well tonight. We are thrilled to be able to share this content with you, and I think that if you missed Tuesday night, you are in for a huge treat, because what Carly and Victoria have to share, I was sitting there going, this is amazing. These are the questions that people are constantly asking me. How do you get started becoming a VA? Do I have time? Like, where would I fit this into my schedule? How much do I make? How do I find that first client? And on and on and on, these questions that people have asked me. And so they are going to answer all those questions and much more, and show you that you can be successful working as a virtual assistant. And then at the end, we're going to all come back on, and we will do a live Q&A and answer all of your burning questions. And I'll talk from the perspective of hiring people to be a virtual assistant, and then they'll share from their many years of experience working as virtual assistants. And so also they have a really special giveaway I think they're going to do at the end, so you're going to want to stick around for that as well. So welcome, you guys, and I will let Carly and Victoria take it away.
Thank you, Crystal. Hi, guys. Let me share. Oh, let me share my screen and get the slides up in the correct order. There we go. So let me know if you can see this. Carly and I are so excited to have you. And Carly, can you just verify for me in the chat that people are seeing the screen?
Yes, I think they can, but make sure you hit, we're still seeing our videos. So we got to make sure we do present to everyone.
Okay. I did that part, but present to everyone. There we go. Okay.
Try that.
Thank you, guys. Cool. Okay. It should be on now. Yes, we are so excited. Thank you, Crystal, for that great introduction. And you can see it now, right, guys? Tell us in the chat. My lovely friend, Carly.
There it is. I see it.
Yay. Okay. Awesome. Sweet. So we are super glad you're here. Like Crystal said, we're going to talk about how to earn an income from home without selling a thing. So we are super excited. And to go ahead and tease that giveaway she mentioned, we are thrilled to be able to give away 2 Brilliant Life planners from Brilliant Business Moms. These planners are selling out very soon. And so we're tickled to have gotten some. And we wanted to kind of say, too, this is a great benefit of just being a VA. Carly worked with Beth Ann and got these for us. So thanks, Carly, for doing that.
Yeah,
and thank you very much to Beth Ann at Brilliant Business Moms. These we'll be giving this away at the very end of the webinar to whoever is live. So definitely stick around for that. Okay, let's get going. Before we super get started, we're going to take you back a little bit, because all good, webinars start with a story. And Carly and I think it's really important you kind of know our heart behind why we're virtual assistants and what brought us here in the first place. So I'll go first. My name is Victoria, and I have 2 little girls, ages 4 and 2, and 1 on the way. We just make girls around here, apparently. But my VA story really started in late 2015 when my second daughter was born. Up to that point, we had been making it financially. I was home with my oldest. My husband had a pretty good and stable job, but he had taken recently, the year that my second was born, he took a job he loved more, but had a lower income than what we'd previously been used to. And of course, babies aren't free. And we were suddenly realizing that, oh man, as a family of 4, our expenses just is not keeping up with the income that is coming into the home. And we started just to notice those kind of patterns of like stress and anxiety in our family. I think many of you probably know what that feels like. It's very icky. It's super terrifying. and we knew we needed to do something different. So it was at that point I had decided to kind of start taking my online work more seriously. Like many people, I had a hobby blog for several years since about 2010. And I was thinking, like, okay, how can I actually leverage this and make it work for our family? And it was through that that I got introduced to virtual assisting work, though I didn't even know what it was when I started doing it. And since then, we have just really gotten our grounding. Of course, I have grown as a virtual assistant, and it's just been wonderful, a huge blessing for our family. And we are getting closer to our financial goals. And we'll talk more about that later, but it's just been nothing but good stuff for us. So that's me and my story and how I got here. Carly, why don't you introduce us to you and tell us how you got started?
Thanks, Victoria. And I'm guessing a lot of you relate really well to Victoria. If you have little kids and you've come home to be a stay-home mom, or you want to come home to be a stay-home mom, or you've kind of been a stay-home mom with little kids for a while, but you just know that it would just help so much to have some extra income and yet still be a stay-home mom. So, but I'm at the other end of parenting. So my oldest is 16, and then I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, and the only boy out of the two of us. So I'm just at the other end, and I've homeschooled. I've been home for 16 years with my kids, and I've homeschooled them pretty much the whole time. And so what happened, and I know this will be shocking for some people, but my afternoons were suddenly very free. Now that they're older and we've worked hard to get them super independent with their assignments for school. My afternoons cleared up. When I was done teaching, I was like, what do I do? And, but we moved to rural Wyoming, and man, we took a pay cut to come here for ministry. And we knew that it would really help our budget to have some more work. So I'd been working super, super part-time, like tutoring and grading essays and different stuff, but it wasn't really significant. It was kind of like play money. It wasn't much. So I kind of went out in my little tiny town. I looked for some jobs and applied, but man, I could not find anything that really fit, because the problem is I really still wanted to do what I'd been doing, which was homeschool and coach my kids' soccer teams and those types of things. And so I kind of looked around and I thought, what I need are super flexible hours. I need to be able to keep homeschooling, and I need to not disrupt the pattern of our home for the 16 years I've been home. That was really like the biggest part, was my kids needed to not have to have this drastic life change just because I went back to work. And so Victoria and I, even though we were kind of at opposite ends of the spectrum of parenting, we really had pretty similar needs. We're both those really busy moms. We both take care of our kids primarily. We have to work in the margins of those days. And this is Carson. Meet Carson. This is Victoria's daughter. But let's be honest, I mean, our faces would be that way too if everything had to go crazy, right? If we just kind of jumped to an 80-hour-a-week hustle, or had to go back to work 9 to 5 when we hadn't been used to that, that's what we would look like too. But certainly that's how our kids would have felt if we had really disrupted our homes that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we also, like, a lot of people have asked us, why don't you just, start a business or take on, an existing business? But the thing was, as we each kind of looked at those options, and we didn't even know each other this time. This is something we found separately from each other. But as we looked at those options, we said, okay, we don't really have time to put in a ton of training for something. We don't really have the money or the desire to purchase a starter kit or be out every night doing product parties. We're both pastors' wives. And so a lot of evenings are church activities. And when they're not church activities, we're with our kids. And so that wasn't really going to work for us. We just needed some kind of predictable income, not varying with how many things we had sold that week, that we could bring in on a regular basis. And the funny thing is, as Victoria kind of pointed out, neither of us really knew what virtual assistant work was. It wasn't really a term we knew, but we were introduced to it, and it's amazing what it's done for our families. It's truly been the perfect solution for both of us.
Yeah, definitely. And if, like us, you were wondering what a virtual assistant is, a quick definition is that a VA, which is virtual assistant for short, is just an independent worker who completes tasks for businesses owners from home, usually online. And when we say independent worker, we do mean like independent contractor. That's kind of how it's filed. Tax-wise, and that just means that you can work at will for as many businesses as you would like. And this will make more sense as we go along, but we wanted to give you a starting point. Here is to kind of to flesh that out a little bit more about why we're so excited about being VAs. This solution for us is totally compatible with all of those unique conditions we and other moms have. We don't have to work crazy hours. We can work on our own schedule, and we can pause, speed up, or slow down the work as our family needs. Both Carly and I work about 15 to 20 hours. We, again, work on our own schedules. It's not something we have to show up at certain times necessarily. We can just come do the work we need to, and then it's done. That's great. Another great benefit is that we totally have the buy-in of our husbands and kids. Our work really doesn't strain our families. In fact, our families have been thriving since we've been working as a VA. So of course, right, husbands and kids are going to be supportive of this. And VA work has made just a really tangible difference in our homes. So we want to just not talk about theory. We want to give you some practical ideas of how VA work has made a difference. And the most straightforward way to do that is to show you financially. So if we are just taking 1 hour of work each day, $20 an hour is a pretty standard starting rate for a virtual assistant. If you're doing a really basic job, you could expect something more like 10 to 15. But for definitely where we started, and it's increased now, but 20 is kind of a good margin. And let's just say 1 hour each weekday. You don't even have to work Saturdays and Sundays right away. Let's just see what this difference would be. In your family's budget, that would be an extra $100 a week, an extra $400 a month, and that would total to just over $5,000 extra a year. And I do not know about you guys, but that made a really big difference in our family. Yeah, Carly, let's chat about this. This is just so exciting.
Oh man, I mean, I just starting there at that, 1 hour every weekday to get to $5,000 extra a year. I'm sure all of you also are having just kind of your brain going ding, 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 ding. This is what I could do with $5,000 extra a year. The things on this list are things that I think we've done the majority of them between the two of us, Victoria.
Yeah. And tell us, guys, tell us in the chat what you would do, kind of if any of these items on this list appeal to you, or just what your ideas would be for that 5,000. But definitely, I think between both of us, Carly, this was that list we came up with.
Yeah, I really do. I think this is really personal for us. So if you have some other great idea, we'd love to hear it. But for us right now, it's really interesting because with our kids being so much older at the end, we're looking at sending a daughter off to college. And so college is there, but so is just the things we want to do with our kids before they're grown up. And so we're trying to put money away for a vacation. We haven't really gotten to take a big family vacation in a really long time. And it's a big deal. And so even Victoria, why don't you tell them kind of what you guys are doing?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but definitely you're on that end. We're on the other end of little kids and still paying off student loans. We're Dave Ramsey people. Like I'm guessing a lot of you might be. So we're in baby step 2 and through VA work, and my husband has kind of given us blessing to share us, but we've paid off almost $10,000 so far extra on our student loan through my VA work, like in the last year, which was huge. Like that was so big for us. And it feels really good to make that headway, but to know that we're working hard, but it's in a really flexible way for, method for our family. It's not something that's really breaking us. It's hard work, but it's doable. So that's been super exciting.
And in the chat, it is hopping with people with great ideas. And I love you guys all kind of are in the same boat that we are, missions trips and family trips and debt. I mean, that's amazing. Aww. And that's at 1 hour every workday. So that's pretty cool.
It is cool. So let's double it. Because of course, I mean, you can work as much or as little as you want. What if you doubled that? What if you just did 2 hours? That would be $200 a week, $800 a month, and an extra $10,000 a year. Like I just told you, that's about exactly what we have just paid off extra on our student loan, which is huge. Like that was so big. And for us, it would not have been possible without VA work. And we're really excited to kind of flesh that out for you guys as we keep going along.
Yeah. And I'm so proud of you, Victoria. It's such a commitment to paying that debt down. And I think so many people can relate to that. And it's awesome that you did that all from home. I just love it.
Yeah. Thank you. Me too. We're just gazelles over here, Carly.
You are. I'm proud of you guys. Okay, so we can see in the chat, we know you guys are super excited, right? You're going, yeah, this is amazing. I can be home, I can work from home, and then I can see an actual positive difference in my family's finances. And so it's amazing. But what really, does a virtual assistant do? What do we do all day, right? So one thing we really want you to know, like, we're going to give you some ideas and some examples, and these all come from either our experience or other VAs that we've talked to. But virtual assistant work is as varied as the business and as the VA. So the list we're going to give you and the ideas we're going to show you is just not exhaustive. So we actually want you to be kind of brainstorming in the chat some other things you think that a VA might be able to do.
Let me just quick note. Yeah, sorry. A quick note about the chat. I know there's a ton of questions coming in. Definitely keep those coming. We have two wonderful moderators, which I failed to introduce in the opening, and I do apologize. Carly and Ellen and Brittany are in the chat. Ellen and Brittany, they are our moderators. They are saving all of your questions. And Crystal and Carly and I are going to be super excited to answer those at the end. So rest assured, we're seeing those questions. I know it's all rapid fire, but we are definitely getting them. And thank you for pardoning my pregnancy brain.
Okay. We do pardon it. Thanks, Victoria. Okay, so here's some of the things that we do. And we actually probably do all of these, and then we know lots of other VAs that do these also. So one thing I do all the time on actually a daily basis is I run customer care, customer service. So I am in the inbox, I'm in Facebook, I'm on Instagram, responding to comments and answering questions. And one of the clients I have, we have a lot of students. And so, if they are saying, how do I do this? Or I'm getting stuck here, or I don't know how to do this, I either answer that question or make sure that my client sees it. It's just anything that a business owner's customers might need help with. You kind of learn how to do that, and then you help them. So pretty simple stuff. This is one Victoria is just amazing at. I'm going to be fully honest and tell you this is not my favorite thing, although I do it. It's not natural to me. I'm older. I'm not a millennial. I'll just tell you that. And so this just does not come as naturally to me, but it does to Victoria, and that's social media. Oh my goodness. She has so many ideas and just constantly posting things to Instagram and Facebook and doing Instagram stories and stuff. And for some people, some clients, they want to make all the content and you just post it. So it can be that easy. I can even do that, you guys. Another thing we both love, because we both do love writing, is to work as a copywriter. We love doing that. And copy is just a business word for any kind of writing that goes out. That can be an email or some kind of marketing or, a long Facebook post. All that's just called copy. And so we write blog posts, we write emails, we do all kinds of things like that when the business owner asks us to write for a specific project. And then one more, if you're really like visually kind of design oriented, if you love to just kind of mess around with photos and words and those kinds of things, then this would be great for you. It would be creating that beautiful content that you see on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook, and even within emails or blog posts, just any kind of images or graphics or kind of designing some colors for a business. That's another thing that lots of business owners have people do. And one thing we want to make sure we explain is that it's not that business owners can't do these things. They can, or they can do most of them. It's not the most valuable use of their time. They would be far better off doing those tasks that only they can do, that's going to earn their business money. So they're very capable. They can teach you, or it's something that's their weakness, and that's fine too. But they can teach you how they want things done or what it should look like, but they're just trying to free up some hours for them to do what's most important for them to do.
That's so good to say, Carly. And definitely let us know in the chat, guys, like which of these you think would appeal to you and which you think you can see yourself doing.
Absolutely. The chat is amazing. You guys are fabulous. Okay, so now you kind of have an idea what a VA might do. And like we said, not an exhaustive list at all, but how would you know what you would be good at, right? That's the next question. Like, how do I know if I could do that? So you can see we've kind of matched up some soft skills to what the business owner might need. And a soft skill is just a business word that means the things you're naturally good at. So it doesn't require a degree. It doesn't require certification. It's something that you just naturally do and are good at, or you've taught yourself, and so you're good at doing it. And really the trick to finding your VA sweet spot is to match those skills that you have already to the needs of businesses. Some ways to identify that would be to ask yourself, like, what do people say you can do really well? Or say, hey, could you do this for me? Because you're way better at it than I am. What do you love to do? What have you done in the past at any job or school or anything like that? Or even just in your own world, like, we're talking about Pinterest or that kind of thing. What have you done that you're like, yeah, I do this all the time. It comes pretty naturally. I love to sit down and do this. And then you just match them up. So I'll just pick one. Like if you like to, let's say you care about people, have really great people skills, then you might want to do something I do, like customer care, or kind of moderating those Facebook groups and making sure that the way that people are posting fits the vibe of the group, that people are following the rules, that you can respond positively and be like, oh, that's such a good point, or I love that you said that. Those types of things are the kind of stuff we're talking about.
Yeah. And Carly, to reiterate your point that some of what we're describing may sound really simple to you, to reiterate, this is really stuff that business owners just need time with. And to kind of show you that, we polled a group of mom entrepreneurs, so moms just like us who also have businesses. And we asked them, what task would you love to hand off to someone else and never have to do again? And look at these results. This was a group of about, 5,000 or 6,000, I think, people. Social media was the top thing, right? So literally, if you can post to social media, then you have what it takes to work as a virtual assistant. But take a look at some of these other items. And I believe, Carly, that business owners were able to add a response if they wanted to as well. So this is just a great sampling. And you can see, as Carly just mentioned, there's kind of a whole bunch of soft skills that are represented here, a whole different, just a huge variety. There's so many different things you can do. And
right. It's not limited.
It's not limited. You don't have to be intimidated by what you think you know or don't know. A lot of learning about comes with a job when you're being a virtual assistant. And so you can just start with exactly where you are and you'll get somewhere.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So if you're kind of getting excited about, I could do this, let's take a look at your life and see when you would find time to do this. We know you're busy, so let's think about that for a second. If you guys would picture your week and maybe write in the chat, what are some things that you just have every week that you do? Maybe it's homeschooling your kids or taking them to dance or grocery shopping, right? Unfortunately, we all have to grocery shop, or maybe that's your thing. I don't super love it, but if you do, that's great. Come to my house, you can grocery shop for me. But we all have tasks in our week. And so if you start thinking about that, I could see where you might be getting overwhelmed. Like, whoa, I am a busy person. And what you're doing is you're asking me, guys, to add an hour or more to that each week. Like, where am I going to find that time? Don't you know that we're a bunch of moms here? Like, how is this going to happen? Well, let's rephrase that question. What if you asked yourself, what can I give up to find that hour? And if you are like Carly and I, this slide definitely made you say, ouch. What we're trying to show here is that you do have the time in your week. It's just deciding how to use that time. Earlier this week, in fact, Crystal did a great live video about budget and how we need to start saying, not that I can't afford something, but I'm choosing not to afford something. It's that same principle. We're choosing what we're going to afford, as it were, with our time. And so the reality is that you do have these hours in your week, or you could just rework your schedule just a little bit to find them. You just have to make that conscious decision. What do you think about this, Carly?
I think it hurts.
For sure.
But I will tell you. Yeah, go ahead.
You guys are not alone. We are just like you guys. This is also a reality check for us.
It is. And I will tell you that when I was looking for a job, when I was out there kind of looking around and trying to figure out what I could do and finding my afternoons free, when I had some free time, I found I was on my phone and I was on Facebook and that's fine. I think there's a lot of relaxation that comes with that. It's a great place to connect with people, but it becomes this great time waste also. And so since becoming a virtual assistant, this is exactly what I do. I give things up, but it's not like 100%. It's not like I'm never on Facebook, so
you're just choosing. Yeah. So speaking about choosing, you do this so well. Let's talk about kind of what that would look like, Carly.
Okay. So what we want to do is we want to show you we're going to show you two different sample schedules. And these are from real moms who kind of helped us out to make sure that we got a pretty good idea of what a regular average schedule might look like. I'm assuming you're not working. And so this would be for a mom whose kids go to school every day. And so you can see everywhere that's red that when the kids are at school, there are some solid chunks of work hours. in there. Now, we're not saying in any way that you should pick all of those or that you need to block out all of those. Remember, we started with 1 hour each workday, and then we talked about 2 hours each workday. That's very realistic. Most of the jobs we see posted start between 5 and 15 hours a week, not at full time. And so, in fact, a lot of VAs to get to full time end up with more than one client. And so it's very realistic to find a job that would fit in this kind of a schedule. And so what we're saying is that, you could go all out, right? And you could make all of those blocks your work hours and look for enough clients to fill all of those hours. But we're all about white space in our life. We're all about leaving room for relaxing with our families and having very natural playtime and hangout time. I mean, my daughter, my 16-year-old said tonight, Mom, it's been a really busy week. Any chance we could go to coffee tomorrow and catch up? Aww. Yes, I know, right? She's the best. But the answer is yes. The answer is yes, because I can do that. I can not work in the morning and I can go to coffee with my daughter. And so it's beautiful. And so that's, again, it's like what Victoria was saying about Crystal talking about choosing where to spend your money. We do get to choose where to spend our time. So let me show you one more schedule. This is similar to my schedule. It's sort of similar to Victoria's too. For me, it's after homeschool and after we've done lunch and kind of some cleanup. We run a hobby farm. And so we have chores. We have a lot to do around here. And so I teach in the mornings, we do lunch and then a bunch of chores. And then the afternoons, my kids are doing their assignments independently. And that's where my free time is. And I put a couple of these other ones in there, the Thursday night and the Saturday, because I like to give myself some other blocks so that if something comes up, a doctor's appointment or something like that, I have the ability to, delay some work if a project's not due that day. And so again, you don't have to pick all of these blocks. What we want you to see is that if you're being realistic about your schedule, and if you're a night owl, just fill them all in at nighttime. That's fine too. but
do sleep some.
But do sleep. Sleep is good, right? If you're a morning person, put them in the mornings. Early in the morning. We know VAs that wake up at 4 a.m. and get all their work done before their kids get up, and then they nap with their kids. And that, I love it. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. So you can find it. Those hours are there, and then we just choose how we spend those hours.
Yeah, so good.
Okay, so are you with us? Are you seeing how this works, how we're being very, very honest about working in the margins? We have not rearranged our entire lives for VA work, but we've taken our busy lives and said, okay, where can we fit that work in? So if you're with us, tell us in the chat that you're with us, okay? And then what we're going to do is get real practical here and talk to you about some ideas that we have for you. And not just ideas. These are proven strategies that we've used and our students have used to find that client, because that's what everyone says, that, that's scary, right? It's scary to find a client. So here's a simple one. So think in your world about anyone you know who owns a business. Now, this could be someone in your town that owns a shop. This could be your dad who happens to, run, I don't know, a mechanic shop or something. Or it could be someone who runs an online business. And that online business could be one of the MLM type direct sales businesses. They need VAs too, okay? So think through any of those people that you might know, and you just have to ask them. And this is the question that we love to ask business owners. What could you do with 5 extra hours in your work week? Or what task would you love to never have to do again? I promise you that every business owner will have an answer. Doesn't mean they will hire you, but they will all have an answer to that question. And one of the things, this is like a little secret we'll give you, little pro tip here. If you will offer to work those first 5 hours of that first week, either for free or at a very, very reduced rate, then you're really likely to get a yes. And then once you've freed up those 5 hours for that business owner, they're not going to want to take that task back.
That's so smart. It's so smart.
How about you, Victoria? Why don't you tell them about this one, because you love this one.
Oh, yeah. So a way that I got my very first clients was to reach out to my favorite bloggers or YouTube owners, Etsy shop owners, Facebook group owners, whoever you like on the internet. The way Carly just described is kind of a what's called a warm way to approach people. So if you already have a connection, this is more cold outreach, meaning you don't know the person, but it can still be very friendly because in this example, you already have the connection with them of just knowing who they are. So I am a painfully extroverted person. It does not freak me out at all to talk to strangers. So I legitimately just sent a whole bunch of emails to people I followed online saying, hey, I can help you out. What can I do? I'm ready to work, ready to learn. And I got answers. It was amazing. I think the big key here is to keep in mind that even though the internet seems big and wild, it is full of normal people, just like you and me. So you might be separated by a screen, but that is it. It is just another person on the other end of that screen who also needs help with their business, who also, wants more time in their life, and you can provide them a valuable service. So this is literally the email that I sent, one of my very first VA emails, and I got hired. So of course I kind of blacked out the identifying information just for privacy's sake. This was a podcaster that I really liked. And so I complimented her on her podcast and, made some general comment. And then I said, hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm offering these services. Like I mentioned, I had a hobby blog. So I just threw up a really quick page on my hobby blog, listing out like the stuff that I thought I could do. And, told her if you have any projects, I'd love to help out. Nice, friendly closing, always Victoria. And I got this job. As I recall, it did not pay like super, super high, but it was a first. And what Carly and I and our students have found is that once you get those like first yeses, you just get so much like confidence and you just keep going and your portfolio grows. So if you get to the point where you're trying to pitch even bigger people, you can have this whole record of success and past clients to show and say, hey, I've worked for this person and that person. And it really can build your credibility.
Yeah,
so Carly,
exactly.
This is your favorite way.
This is my favorite way. That's so true. And I just totally agree with what Victoria said. We have found that if you're willing to take your first or second job at a little lower rate than you were hoping for, it just jumpstarts your VA career. And I mean, I now turn down work. I don't have any more hours. And so, but my name's out there, I guess. And so I get asked to do VA work and I don't have time. And so that's a quick jump from being brand new to that. And it's not revolutionary. I'm not special, guys. You can totally do this too. So, okay, this is my favorite way. This is actually, I think, how I've gotten all of my clients, I'm pretty sure. So you may not know this, but there are entire Facebook groups, and there are tons of them out there that are either for small business owners or for connecting VAs with business owners. So it's kind of two angles here. If it's a business owners group, you're just going to be in there and be, friendly and learning from them. And then when somebody says, hey, I'm looking for some help with this, then you kind of can jump right in there. You don't want to be spammy, right? We don't like anyone who jumps in and is like, hire me all the time. But you go in there, be part of the community, learn from them, and then offer to help when it's appropriate. There's also actually full Facebook groups that are dedicated to VAs too. So, and in those, of course, you can put your skills and all this kind of stuff. Basically follow the rules. That's what we're telling you.
Yeah, I love this example that you pulled. There is a group and you can see the name of it right there. Virtual assistant jobs that is just full of jobs.
And I want you to look down a little ways in the skills, and it says, it's the top one, the ability to pick up new programs quickly, hard worker and efficient. This is, if you read the whole thing, it doesn't go down to like super specific skills. She says a few things that she'd like you to know. Most of those we could teach you in a very, very short amount of time. When I started as a VA, I knew 0 of those programs. I now know all of them. So and I'm older, remember, not a millennial, guys. So I'll just keep sharing that. So here's where we want you to be right now. Okay, this is kind of where we want you to be in your head. You have skills and tools right now. You have things you are good at, things you naturally know how to do, things you do without even knowing that it's a skill a business owner might need that you can use to start working from home right now. It is really helpful to have a computer and a good internet connection. We got that question last night. That's probably something pretty close to required, although we do have some workarounds if you don't have that. But we're talking no trainings, no startup kits, nothing like that you have to buy. You can literally just start with what you've got. And that's the thing. We don't ever want to present this as like, oh, it's simple. No, we're not saying that a business owner is going to pay you to sit around and do nothing. The only trick to VA work is hard work. That's why we're moms work hard. And that's why we just love this community, because you're already a mom. You already know what it looks like to work hard and to put your all into things. That's what we do with VA work. We work hard, our clients love us, and we get jobs that let us be home with our babies.
Yeah. I love that. So I'm going to be here to bring the bad news.
Oh,
Cue
no.
the sad music. I know. Womp womp. It really is not too good to be true. But guys, here's the thing. Carly and I totally blew it when we were new VAs. Like, I mean, majorly. There's a big learning curve to being a virtual assistant. And this was not something which we were made aware of until we were into it. And we really did. We just totally fumbled. We made some major mistakes that unfortunately were preventable if we kind of knew more of what we were doing. We both kind of felt stuck in less than ideal client relationships early on, and we didn't have skills to make it better. Carly, even one of my favorite stories is that she fired a client, and fired sounds mean. It just means like you're ending that relationship, right? Everyone here is at will. So Carly was saying, hey, this isn't working anymore. It's time to move on. So Carly thought she sent that email of like, we're done. And then the next day got work from the same client. So what, like, what is even going on? I thought like I ended this. But yeah, like that's frustrating, right? You're like, how do I get out of this terrible relationship? This kind of, I know I definitely was guilty of. I lost work trying to figure out necessary tools and workflows that I needed to be successful just because I didn't quite have a handle of what I was doing. I legitimately missed out on new work opportunities that I could have taken. And of course, if you're missing out on work, that means you're losing money due to things like miscommunication and misunderstanding and just not being confident. And that's a bummer, right? No one wants to work and then not get money, because one thing we teach is that if you make a mistake, like you should fix it, not charging the client, right? Like you should own your mistakes. I was just making a ton of them really early on for really silly reasons. And the worst part of it all is that we lost time with our families trying to figure all of this out. And remember, right? Family is why we started being virtual assistants in the first place. We wouldn't be in this if it wasn't for, our kids and our husbands. And we were just missing time with them. So that was just a major bummer.
Yeah, it really was. And I'm actually just sitting here reminiscing about
stuff. I know, me too. It's like, don't go too far down memory lane.
Let's not go down that road.
That's
too
in the
far.
past.
Oh man, we just needed help. Oh, I just wish we had help. We just both fumbled so much. What we really wished we had was someone to kind of lay it out for us. Like, this is what you're going to need and this is what you should do. And I actually saw a question in the chat where someone said, I've never heard of any of those programs. Well, you shouldn't have. Those are business programs. They're not kind of everyday people programs. Mm-hmm. We didn't know that either. We didn't know any of those programs either. We wished we'd had someone to just kind of guide us and a mentor to help us as we were brand new VAs. So unfortunately, what we did, as Victoria said, is we lost work and we lost time and we lost money and we stumbled our way through until we found success. But man, that success had a really steep price tag. But now we're here. Now, almost every day, one of us is getting, or both of us are getting messages that say like, okay, I've seen you do this and I know you work from home. Like, what do you do? And can I do this? Do I need any special skills or degrees to do this? And our clients talk about us and share us with other people if we have working hours. It's just good stuff at this point. We have found our groove. And I don't say that to brag. That's not the point. It's just we learned through hard work and a lot of mistakes. Although I'm good at that. I learned that way for sure. And then we went out and looked. And again, we didn't even know each other. We did this separately. We found that there were courses for VAs. There are virtual assistant courses out there. And I signed up for to get the emails and stuff for several of them, and then found out that these were hundreds or thousands of dollars. There is literally a $4,000 course that you can take. But none of those courses were going to fit our busy mom lifestyles. It wasn't going to fit our working needs. And it certainly was not going to fit our budget.
Yeah, that's terrible feeling, right? When you know you need help and you're like, there is nothing here to help me. It's no good at all. So Carly and I, again, we were both kind of coming to this realization at the same time. Then we met each other and the heavens opened and angels sang and we decided to do what moms do. And that is solve the problem ourselves. So we just went all out Mama Bear Ninja Warrior on this. And we decided to create the solution that we have been looking for. Our heart was to create a course and a community for busy moms just like you who want to work in the margins of their days so they can earn some income from home. And that's why we started Moms Work Hard. It is a full course that's designed with you in mind. It has 3 modules that total time take 3 hours to watch. That'll really set you up to be a virtual assistant. It's important to us that it's pre-recorded. It's not like a live course you have to join because we know you're busy. You can start and stop at your own pace. And it's no fluff, right? We don't have time to kind of sit through a bunch of silly things. We just want the facts, and that's definitely what our course gives you. Here's kind of an example of what it looks like in the platform. It's really easy to navigate and well laid out. And if you are a visual type of person, we have worksheets and lesson overviews for people who love them. One of us, whose name is Carly, loves worksheets. And so you guys have a ton of them. Yeah, there's a ton that she has lovingly created in the course. So what we have shown you in this free class is how to get started as a VA. And our full course and community really teaches you how to thrive as a VA, which, like we just told you, is really important. And it's a piece that we didn't even know we were missing. So again, this kind of course through both the modules, the core teaching modules, and then a bunch of bonuses we're going to talk about. You're going to learn how to track your time, how to get paid, which is really important, how to find your working style, kind of tips and tricks we found to work more efficiently. You'll get introduced to those tools you'll use daily. Like Carly mentioned, a lot of these programs, you may have no idea what it is, and you're not supposed to. You don't run a business. Like, you don't have to know that. We'll introduce you to those programs and kind of give you a little starter on how to use them. We have proven strategies to how to find and land clients, so you're not wasting time kind of shooting the wind trying to find something that works. We'll teach you how to communicate clearly with your clients so you can have that good relationship, and then how to know when it's not working out and how you can fix that. Or ultimately, if you need to leave, we can kind of help you do that in a really professional and kind way. But most importantly, our course is going to teach you how to earn this income from home with keeping your family first, because that home, work-life balance is just so important to us because we're moms above all, right? First and foremost.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Other great things is that you get us as your mentors and email access for questions, tech tutorial options, which I'm really excited about. What we do is that when people come to us with a specific question and we're like, hey, that's great, and that would be a good addition to the course, we just find or make that tutorial and put it in the course. And a huge, huge bonus, I think, of being in the course is you get to be part of our community. We have a private Facebook group that looks like this for all of our members, and it is just brimming with amazing people and good advice. And we put job opportunities in there as we find them. In fact, one of our students said that she's gotten 3 clients within like 2 months of starting as a VA through our group, which is so awesome. Other bonuses that we included for you is the VA Tax Guide. This is an ebook by Sarah Cornack, and it's for sale on Amazon, but she gave it to us for free, which is included in her course, and that's super exciting. One note here is that this is based on the US tax code. So if you're international, this could be one part of the course that doesn't apply to you. Another exciting thing that we included is a 2-hour class all about social media. So if you are interested, but maybe freaking out, like you don't exactly know how to work social media, I actually got a chance to collaborate with Beth Ann of Brilliant Business Moms on the class, which was a VA perk for me. It was getting to create a content around this topic I really enjoy. So we are just thrilled that she also gave us this class to include in the course for you guys. And the exciting thing is to thank you for being here today in our webinar with Crystal, is that we have included an additional bonus. If you buy through Crystal's link before Monday night, you're going to get our step-by-step guide to how to land your first client with confidence. Carly and I worked hard on this to make it something that was valuable and to answer questions that our students have asked us a lot, like how to find jobs that you can do. How do I write that email that gets noticed? What about contracts and those other kind of details? We just put them all in this guide for you, and you'll get that if you buy the course before Monday. So all of those great benefits and features you can get access to for just $95. And if you're just like us, you're going to feel like Carly's little daughter, Julie here. You're going to be so excited that it's not $4,000, that it's just $95, and that you've totally got the confidence you need. It's going to make you feel pretty awesome. So again, if you want this extra bonus of learning how to land your first client, you need to order before Monday night, January 29th, and we'll send you an email about that. At $95, it's such a deal, I think, to get all of these benefits and resources. And a pro tip we like to remind people is that you can easily make back the cost of this course in just 1 week of working as a VA. That kind of 1 hour a day we showed you, if you work that, at that $20 an hour rate, you would make back the cost of this course. That was really important for us to make it affordable in that sense.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So I want to, let me share what Jessica had to say. So Jessica was one of our first students, and she's so active in the group and a super big positive part of the community. But I want you to see what she said. She said, if you kind of look in the big box, she said, the confidence that I've gotten from this group of ladies, the private Facebook group, and the knowledge this course has given me has made it so that our family will have an extra $800 a month with part-time hours. So I'm still able to be a mom. It makes me almost want to cry, you guys. Jessica, this was game changing for Jessica's family. And if you kind of look over in her little post over there and you see where the little emoji is, she said, I've even made a Pinterest board all about Joanna Gaines. I mean, what's not to love about that? Guys, if you can make a Pinterest board about Joanna Gaines, you can work as a VA.
Yes, it's a good day. It's definitely
a good day.
So we know that this course is an investment, though. $95, at different budgets, that's going to hit your ears differently. But what we want you to know is that this is an investment that has the power to positively impact your family's finances for the long haul. It's not, just a one quick thing. It's something that you're building skills, and it's going to be with you as long as you're working as a VA, constantly making that improvement and gaining confidence, and then mostly contributing to your family. So if this sounds good to you, you can head to, and you do need the HTTP, / part, bit.ly/money saving moms work. And I know Carly, I keep doing this, Ellen and Brittany have that link in the chat. And Ellen is saying that she can't post the link, but I'm so sorry. Okay, so this bit.ly apparently right now is not working when it gets in the chat. But
yeah, YouTube sometimes doesn't let us post links. You could try, Victoria. It might let you.
Yeah, when we go to the Q&A in a second, I'll try to put this in here since I'm hosting. But HTTP bit.ly/money saving moms work. That is Crystal's affiliate link to thank her for introducing us today. And if you head right there, you can order the course, enroll in the course. What it will look like is the screen. You just hit that buy $95 button. It'll take you to this page, which is just you setting up an account to tell us like, hey, I'm here. I'm a student. I'm ready to learn. Then it will take you directly to the payment option. You can use a credit card or PayPal, and then you're in. So again, that is HTTP bit.ly/money saving moms work.
Yeah, they're saying that link's not working either. So this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to grab the long link, and YouTube is funny sometimes, and I'll get you guys another link in just a second.
Okay, and we will return to our faces too, so maybe that will let me do it. But just a reminder, we are about to head into the Q&A, so you're going to see Carly and Crystal and myself again, and stay through the end of the Q&A, because again, we've got this great giveaway from Brilliant Business Moms. These planners are almost sold out, I think getting close, so we're tickled to have 2 of them to give you. And let me go back, and stop sharing and come back. Hello. Hi, guys.
There we are.
Let me see if I can put that in the link for you guys.
Yeah, try that. And then
Brittany just got it.
Oh, good.
So weird. Why is it not working? Anyway, we'll get it, guys.
Yeah. And we'll get a long link too. That's so interesting. YouTube is a funny thing sometimes.
But yes, thank you.
Alrighty, are we ready for questions?
Yes.
Okay, so we will get the link situation figured out. And if for some reason you can't get it to work tonight in the chat with clicking on it, surely we'll get
It'll be in the email.
We'll also be emailing it out. And you can also reach out to me anytime, and I'm happy to send you the link. If you can't get it to work, email me, reach out to me on social media. We want to make sure that you can get the link to work.
Yes.
But it should be, you'll get emails about it too, but hopefully we'll get it working tonight so that you guys don't have to be frustrated by that. All right, so we have a lot of questions, and also if you have other questions, then please go ahead, and this is your chance to ask them in the chat. And Brittany and Ellen, I had to think of her name. It's late at night for me. I'm like, my brain is not functioning very well. There's just been so much this week, and so yes. We're trying to get my brain to work tonight. But anyway, so Ellen and Brittany are pulling the questions from the chat as well for us. Okay, so we're gonna dive right in and go through some of the questions that were already asked throughout tonight. And I just have to say, you guys, wasn't tonight amazing? Carly and Victoria, they kind of made me want to work as a VA, and I'm like, no. I should not be working as a VA, but I'm like, it sounds so fun. I can come up with an extra hour, so yeah.
So cute.
It's really inspiring. Okay, so Maria asked, she said, my children are now 23 and almost 21, and I've been working full-time for 3 years. I still need to have more of a flexible schedule. How quickly could I reasonably be able to replace my income? I'd love to hear from you guys, your thoughts on that.
Yeah, go ahead, Victoria.
How long would it take to reasonably replace? Sorry, I was making sure the link situation was settled. Yeah, that's a great question. That's what's so tough about this. Sometimes as you can never like guarantee exactly how long things will take. I know most of our students, I would say it's an average of like 1 to 2 months as far as like getting our first client. And really it's kind of just how much work you put in at the beginning, how much you're enjoying it and clicking with it. You can kind of get that ball rolling. I know for me personally, once I kind of got started, I would say it was in like 4 months, I would say. I was definitely earning like, it was a lower end full-time income, but a full-time income working part-time hours, like pretty quickly, like within 4 months or so. What do you think, Carly? Is that kind of?
2017 was my first full like calendar year, January, December, and I earned a full-time income in I think last year I was working more 20 to 22 hours a week. I'm down to 15 to 17 because I have a lot of math to teach this year. But yeah, last year I earned a full-time income with part-time hours.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, yeah, I want to be like clear and say it is a full-time income. It's not like it was $75,000, not there yet, but it was definitely like a good, what we needed for the mom working for sure.
Well, yeah. And Maria, if you're working full-time right now, and let's say you just want to cut back to 30 hours a week or just you can work 40 hours a week. Like I work 40 hours a week, but my work hours are in very interesting places. It's not like I work 8 to 5. That's not how it works. And so if you just need more of a flexible schedule, but you can work full-time hours, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to replace that income because, maybe you start out and just getting your foot in the door, you're only going to charge $15 an hour or something. And so you think, well, if you could work 35 to 40 hours a week at $15 an hour, starting out, then you might be able to replace your full-time income more quickly, and then down the road you can increase your rate to $20, $25, $30 an hour or whatever, and so then you can slowly back down on how many hours you're working a week.
Which is where I am now. I know Carly and I both are there now, Crystal. Yeah. Like we're charging more than 20 for sure.
And if you're going to replace that income, I would say, why don't you try to find one client at like 3 to 5 hours a week and get your foot in the door while you're still working full time. And then as you add clients, then you decrease hours rather than quit your job and then hope it works out,
Yeah, I think that's really wise. And I think also the reason that I would say Don't quit your job tomorrow and be like, I'm going to be a VA, because you might not like it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you might decide, actually, I need to be in an office with people every day. And so I think it's important to start out small. And you might also say, you know what, I want to do this thing part-time and I want to do something else part-time. And so kind of figuring out what works for you. I say you should never go cold turkey on something. Or you also might think you want to be a VA doing a certain skill, and then you realize you don't enjoy that skill at all. You would rather do a completely different sort of thing. I mean, I never set out to be a blogger. I started working as a VA, and I thought I was going to love being a VA, and then kind of fell into this blogging thing, and now have VAs working for me, you know? So it's just interesting how things can pan out. So I think it's always good to start out slowly and to do a few hours and kind of build things up to the place where you know, okay, I can totally work part-time or even full-time and replace my income, and we'll be good. Yep. Okay, another question, how can we build trust? And I think that that's really important to recognize, that the trust factor is so huge. And I can speak from someone who hires VAs, how important it is that you build that trust with them. And I would say for me, I hire for character, not necessarily for experience. And so to build trust with me is that you follow through on your word. That when you tell me you're going to get something to me by a certain date, you get it to me. And if something comes up and you can't get it to me, you don't just tell me 3 days later, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't get that to you because my kid got sick. No, you're going to tell me, you know, beforehand, I'm really sorry, my child got sick today. I'm not going to be able to get that to you and the time frame that I said, but I will get it to you by tomorrow, whatever. That you're going to show me that I am a priority to you. That shows a lot of trust. I also think that when you are detail-oriented, when you are thorough, and when you keep your word, I mean, I just feel like that is the way that you build your trust. And then you go out and you do really great work. And when I find somebody who they're detail-oriented and they keep their word and they go out and they do really great work, and I feel like that they are looking out for me, that they are saying, they're not just saying, this is a job and I'm just going to, you know, check things off my to-do list, but I'm really thinking, how can I better her life? How can I make her life easier? How can I do this in the best way for her? I'm going to pay attention to that, because I don't want people on my team who are just checking boxes. I want people on my team who are really invested in what I'm doing and invested in the business, and that their job is to make my life better and my work easier and the business flourish. And so thinking of that, that's the way long-term that you can really build trust with people, is to focus on how can you really be an asset for them, and how can you bring more to the table than they're expecting of you, and think outside the box and take initiative. Julie asks, are most clients or employers willing to work within your margins? I'd love to hear you guys' take on that. If you've had experiences where clients haven't been willing to work with your, you know, with your flexible schedule, and how you deal with that, and as you go into a new client relationship, how do you set the parameters for that from the get-go?
Yeah, and that is a big thing we talk about in the course, because that is what we didn't do very well at the beginning. And that's a lot of what we learned the hard way. So it's such a great question, so important. But the short answer is no, I've actually never had a client not willing to work in the margins. I didn't always set them well, but once I've set them, I haven't had a client. I mean, I do have one. I mean, I really have one main client right now, and I am responsible to be in the inbox, and I need to be in there. You know, I can't wait 48 hours to be in the inbox on a working day. So there are that kind of a time constraint there, because it matters, because we want to get back to people quickly and provide excellent customer service. So of course there's that, but it's not like it has to be at 11 or it has to be at 1 or it has to be at, you know, whatever time. It just is like, well, answer every email within this period of time. And as long as I get in there. So no, I've never had a client say, you have to work these hours. You have to do, you know, be on these times. I have had clients say, hey, can you be on this specific time for this specific event, like a webinar like this, right? So we have 2 moderators who are VAs in the chat right now. So they had to be available right now. So there's that for sure.
And I can give an example of like when I was first starting, I was just so desperate for work. I was just kind of saying yes. And I know I accepted a client who had like a daily deal site. And so she needed those deals posted like first thing in the morning. And I just kind of told her, yeah, sure, I can do that. And I just wasn't very aware of myself and my boundaries at the time. Like I had a newborn and a 2-year-old. And so mornings are, the most just calm, pleasing, lovely times of the day. And it was a struggle. Like I really struggled getting up and getting the deals on time. So that was not her fault. That was like one of those cases of like my miscommunication. And I didn't feel like I had good support, understanding, and I didn't have the freedom to say like, oh, hey, this doesn't work for me, but I could find another VA client, or I should have said no to that job even. I didn't really have anyone to bounce that off of. I was just saying yes. And then eventually that was one client. I ended up like leaving her, but just saying like, hey, I know where I am right now. I'm not giving you the best support that I can. So please, I'll help you find someone else. We kind of, as we teach in the course, like bowed out professionally. But yeah, so that was kind of, it didn't work for my margins, but I just didn't know what else was out there. And I thought I had to say yes to everything right away. And it was stressful. Like I remember that like month or 2 was definitely like one of the most stressful times as a VA. Cause I had this pressure every morning at 8 o'clock. I had to go, or earlier, I think it was like at 7, jump on, and I was still up like nursing like a 3-month-old, and I was exhausted, and I was just wondering like, why isn't this working? And then I started realizing like, oh, there's more options, and oh, like I can find this time in my day other places, and that can be my boundary. So yeah, but same as Carly, I've never had an issue with people saying like, this doesn't work for me, if you're just setting your boundaries well. Yeah.
And I see that some people are still having trouble with getting the link to work. And I wanted to mention that I assume everybody just got an email. I got an email in my inbox saying, here's the link to the course. So if for some reason copying and pasting or clicking on it isn't working, it looks like the VA is behind the scenes.
That's right.
Guys, see how this works? See, this is amazing. I don't even know that Victoria or Carly said, hey, VA, send an email. That's where I'm talking about. Like, that's how you build trust.
That's right.
Obviously, you have to build a relationship before you just like go email your client's list on their behalf. But anticipating their needs. And that's one thing that I was going to mention is that I see this so often that people want to come and work for me, but they want to be spoon fed. Yeah. I don't have space in my life to spoon feed people. I need people who are going to be really proactive and take initiative, and they're going to make it as easy for me. So they're not going to send me this long email to expect me to try to have to, like look through it to try to figure out what they're saying. They're going to say, here's the 3 things that I need from you in bullet points. And they're going to make it super easy for me to be able to do what I do and do it better. Okay, so Tammy asked a great question. She said, are there things for those of us who aren't super techie? And I would say absolutely. You do not have to be super techie to be able to be a great VA. If you are someone who's detail oriented, you could do things like answering emails. You could do things like responding to blog post comments, or responding to customer service inquiries, or responding on social media. You don't even necessarily have to be someone who posts on social media, but like for instance, on my Facebook page, we have people who are looking at the comments and going through and clicking like and making sure that we're blocking people if they are saying nasty things. And we're making sure that people who are asking questions, that they're as much as possible, that they're getting responded to. And so there's things like that doesn't take a lot of technical know-how to be able to do. And so maybe you're good at data entry and you could do that, or maybe you're good at research and you could do research, or maybe you're someone who loves to write and you could help with writing content. Maybe you're really good with marketing or strategy. There's so many different things that you probably have some skill that you could put and make it a virtual assistant type of thing. You don't have to know all these programs. Maybe you don't want to learn the programs. I'm not a techie person. I don't want to learn those programs, but I'm really good at marketing and I'm really good at looking at the big picture and figuring out how we can monetize and be more strategic. And you need people like that to be virtual assistants too, because a business owner can't be the only one who's thinking about strategy. Sophie asked, let's see, do you think it's reasonable to run your own business and then also be a VA? She said she's not ready to throw in the towel with her blog. I'd love to hear you guys' perspective on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's what we're doing. Yeah.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Moms Work Hard is our business. And then we both are VAs. So
yeah.
So
yes.
And it's a great, we're actually doing a webinar next week, like a kind of a more of a niche webinar, talking specifically to a group of small business owners and showing them like, hey, it's a business niche that is a really seasonal, basically. So they don't have work all the time. And we're saying, hey, VA work is a great way to contribute to your income during those off seasons and that sort of thing. So absolutely. And we've actually found too that having this experience as VAs has really like helped us be better business owners. Yep. And then vice versa. Is that what you were going to say, Carly?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say,
I saw you nodding.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sophie, like you'll be amazed at how much more clicks in your own business when you go work for somebody else and you see anything from their workflow, like how they make their workflow work smoothly. And like, especially if you have someone who's good with their time, but all the way to the tech stuff, what programs they use. I have such strong opinions on programs only because like literally when we started Moms Work Hard, I told Victoria, we can't use that mail email processor. We have to use this one because I don't like that one. I didn't know any of those before I started working as a VA. So it's amazing what I've learned on the job as a VA that then translates into owning a business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some people are asking about the course, the deadline to get the price and the bonuses. If you guys just want to reiterate that again.
Yeah, thanks, Crystal. The price is the same. We've set that we think that's the value of the course in the community, so the price won't change, and the course is always available. What changes Monday night is the bonus. The bonus is that step-by-step guide that we created because our students said, that's the part that scares me the most. That's the part I feel the least comfortable with. That's the part I just don't know about. How do I find that client, especially that first one, right? It feels scary. So we created this guide that's to help you find that first client with confidence. That's the part that expires Monday night, but the course and the $95 price tag that stays forever as long as we're here.
And Miss Sue Living, whatever her name's Sue, I'm gonna guess. She was asking about a media kit to promote yourself, and I was wondering, in the course, I'm assuming you kind of talk about like how to put yourself out there and show your portfolio or something like that.
Yeah, we do. And we have examples of those like from students or ourselves.
From like a small flyer to some of our students who have a website. So not necessarily techie, big deal, full resume, anything like that. We have just from a very simple one all the way to a complex one.
And do you cover, Carrie was asking about people paying you. Do you also cover that? Like, how do you make sure that you're tracking your hours and that clients are paying and invoicing and all of that?
Yeah, we do. And we talk about that, and we introduce people to a couple payment options. Like, here's some ways you can process payments, because that's off, of course, that's a big question.
Well, and because we want free stuff. So we don't introduce you to programs you have to buy that cost you money. We tell you how to do it for free.
Right. And definitely we're kind of hinting around, like, one of our goals of the course is really to take people if they know nothing. So we kind of show you like the very basic, we give you some information to help you up at a level. And then the kind of ongoing community and development is for people who keep learning and keep needing more resources. But the course definitely was created for people in mind who are starting from square one. I don't know anything yet, like, show me. And we just kind of introduce you to a whole bunch of things you can do and do this as much or as little to your comfort level. And we've had people get results, at every stage, which is super exciting.
And I did want to mention that the bonus we're going to email out. It's not in the course because it's a bonus. So you won't see it automatically right inside the course. So in a couple of days, we'll email it to you. It's for you to do after you finish the course. It's not in place of the course. It's to do after you've finished. And so you'll get that in a separate email after you've purchased.
Since it expires Monday night, we want to give time.
And a lot of people are asking about a payment plan for the course. I don't think you guys offer that.
We don't currently, but we can talk about it.
We're willing to do that if people say that's really the hindering factor, that's really what's keeping me from this. By tomorrow, we could go in there and have a payment plan available. If that's really, we like the price because, like we say, if you hustle, you can make that back in 1 week of work, and that's legitimate. I made way more than that back my first week of VA work. And I think I was started with a client within a week or two of deciding to become a VA. So that's really realistic. We're not kidding about that. But email us at hello@momsworkhard.com and we can talk about that.
Yeah, I think that's good because I think I probably saw at least 5 or 6 people asking for me.
Good. So, okay. Thanks, Crystal.
And then also, this is a really good question, and I'd love to hear your take on. Someone asked, what computer and online programs do you most recommend learning and knowing how to work to be a VA? And obviously you don't have to know any computer programs and you could still be a VA. But if you guys were to pick, like, what would you feel like are the most valuable ones that someone could learn if they're saying, I want to be a VA and I want to have a little experience under my belt? What would be great for someone to go out and learn so that they could bring that to the table for a client?
Yeah, that's a good question. We can both answer this, Victoria. I think that's a hard question, and here's why. For every program there is, whether it's an email service provider or a invoicing system or anything like that, there's so many options. So it's not like there's just one option. And so the individual business owners choose which one they want to use. And so, for instance, we don't necessarily use all the same programs that Crystal does. And it's not even that one's better or worse. I mean, some of them, our webinar issues last night, there are some better and worse, but so that's a hard one because you could go out and learn one program and then the business owner could want you to use another one. So I think it'd probably be most important to be familiar with what those programs are. Like before I was a VA, I didn't know what an email service provider is. I had no idea how a business owner could mass, email 10,000 people at one time. Though I would want to more know those definitions because it's pretty simple to learn the programs themselves. What do you think, Victoria?
Yeah, I would agree with that. We do, and that is what we do in the course because we think that that's what we've done in the course. Is we've introduced you and we kind of told you basics about them. One that does come to mind, I would say, is Canva.com, and we do have some tutorials in the course about how to use Canva, because that is basically, it's free. There is a paid version, but you can use it free, and it kind of gives you access to, like, you can create images, all different types. They have templates too if you're just getting started. It's great right now if you are just curious about it. Go sign up for a Canva.
It's fun.
.com account. Yeah, and you might find a lot of uses for it. But some clients may have you create a graphic in that or something. I'm trying to think if there's anything else specifically. One thing I would say I know we use a lot of is Google Drive. Yeah. So that might be another one to come in mind. And when we say familiar, like Carly mentioned, what's tricky about this sometimes is that clients may even be using the same program, that they want to do it in different ways. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of have to be sensitive to that. But if you just know about it, like, okay, I know what that is. I feel like I've seen it. I can go in and figure it out. The Google Drive suite would probably be my other Canva and Google Drive. And we also, something else we kind of introduced in the course, there's a lot of project management tools like Trello and Asana and Basecamp. Yeah. We at this point, at least, it hasn't made sense for us to go in and make tutorials about all of them because of the reasons we just mentioned. Your client might want to use them differently. But what we do is we introduce you. We tell you what a project management system is, and we give you some of the big ones. So you can go in with confidence and say, hey, I haven't used that, but I know what it is, and I'm willing to learn. And that's another thing our private Facebook group has been good for. Yeah. Is people are often asking questions in there like, hey, has anyone used this? And you can get back an answer pretty quickly of like, yeah, I've done this before. Here's how that works. So,
and I would say too, we also often know who has really good free trainings on these things. And so we often will say, oh, you need to know how to learn that program. Here, go to this person because they have a great free training on that program. We try very hard to tell people not to spend money learning how to do programs until they're working for a client that they're very, very sure that they're going to stay working and they need to know that program.
I was thinking that one thing I would recommend is that if you are going to pitch a specific client, like you're going to go to someone because you want to work for them, that you understand their business a little bit. So for instance, like let's say you contacted me and you said, hey, I'd really like to be a VA for you. I'd really like to help you with Money Saving Mom. But you didn't even understand how we made money off of Money Saving Mom. So for instance, like you didn't even understand what affiliate programs were, or what affiliate, like I've had this happen before where somebody like, oh yeah, absolutely. And then when you tried to explain, they couldn't even grasp the concept of what affiliate marketing was. Someone can't be posting deals on Money Saving Mom for me if they don't even understand what that is. And so it's like we're starting at square one, trying to just explain affiliate marketing to somebody, and they could have gone out and kind of at least educated themselves a little bit to figure that out. And so I think if you're going to pitch yourself to someone, spend some time reading their blog, spend some time getting to know their business model, spend some time getting to understand what's important to them, how they operate their business. Like there's a lot that you could figure out about how I run my business just by going through and reading posts that I've written on how I make money blogging and things like that. And so do your research ahead of time. I feel like that when I can tell that someone has actually put time and effort into researching my business model, and that it's not just like they went to my homepage and they were like, oh, she looks like she has a blog and maybe she needs a VA. And so then they send me a form letter and they reference a post that I was like the last post that I wrote. That just screams they didn't do much research. And so but I also was going to say that if you're going to want to work as a VA for bloggers, I think one of the best things that you could do is set up your own blog. And you don't even have to tell anybody else that you have this blog, but set it up so that you understand what a blog is. You understand how to set it up. You understand how to write blog posts. You learn how to kind of connect social media. And so that you just have a basic understanding of blogging, because for me, the thought of having to teach somebody from square one what a blog is and how a blog operates, I'm gonna not probably hire that person if I find someone who they have the same character, but they also understand a little bit about blogging. Like they have a basic knowledge of it. And I also think that if you are expressing to someone, like I'm willing to put forth some effort to learn so that I can better help you, to me, that says a lot about that person. And I'm going to pay more attention to wanting to hire them than if someone is just sort of like, well, I don't know anything about your business and you're going to have to teach me everything. And I'm just expecting that you're going to. So I think, you can also think of what are your giftings and what do you want to do? So are you really fascinated with email service providers? Well, then go experiment with some of the free ones that you can set up a free account so you can get a basic understanding of how they work. They're all going to work somewhat the same, just like all blogging platforms work somewhat the same. And so if you understand the basics, you're going to be able to jump in a lot easier with some of the, the specific one that they're using. Okay, so this is to piggyback off of that. Natalie asks, can you just do what you know, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, etc., or is it important to invest time learning more? And I kind of addressed that a little bit, but I'd love to hear from you guys' perspective, and maybe you disagree with me. Like how much should you spend, like if you're going to pitch a specific client that you want to work for, how much time would you suggest spending kind of doing some research and getting some background before you send that initial letter?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because so there are definitely jobs that you could do without any extra training, answer emails or that kind of stuff. The client's just going to say, hey, this is how I want you to answer the emails. Here's the answers, do the time. If you're going to pitch a client, like Crystal's saying, or a skill. So like if you've never started a blog, you're not going to go to a blogger and say, I can run your blog for you, right? That's not going to happen. That doesn't make any sense. It's not going to work. So if you're going to pitch a client that has a specific need, or you're going to pitch a specific skill, go out there, Google. You guys, I can't even tell you, it's almost embarrassing to tell you how many things I've been like, oh, I can do that because I Googled it. So if you, like what Crystal was saying about herself, if you wanted to pitch to Crystal, and we're not telling you guys to all pitch to Crystal, right? Crystal's going to get 500 emails tomorrow Crystal, do you need a VA? So, but you would go through her blog and you would see what she's doing. And then you'd Google affiliate marketing and then you'd be amazed because there'd be 700 articles on affiliate marketing. So, but to answer that specific question, she said, can you just do what you know, or do you need to learn more? The answer is kind of yes and no, because doing Facebook for a business is slightly different than doing Facebook personally. Doing Pinterest for a business is different than doing Pinterest personally. A lot of the things you've learned by being on those platforms will stand the same. So if you already know how to do an Insta story, then you're going to know how to do an Insta story for a business. But what you might not know is the reasons why a business would do an Insta story, right? And so it's so good to have kind of the platform knowledge, but then what you would want to educate yourself in is, how do I use that for business? And you guys, I'm not kidding. Google, how do I use Pinterest for my business? Okay. I've written articles on that. I've literally written blog posts on how to use Pinterest for business for a client. So it's all out there. My guess is a lot of you don't even know that that's a thing, right? I didn't know that there was a thing, that there's business accounts on Pinterest and business owners need to use it differently than you and I do. So yeah, I don't invest in expensive courses on each of these things because you don't know what job you're going to get. Instead, educate yourself on the client or the skill that you think you want to do. Don't do all of it. Pick the thing you think you want to do or the client you want to pitch, and then kind of do some Googling about that, read some articles, and then you'll have this like baseline knowledge. But I would never pitch I can run a blog. I run our website, but I would never pitch myself that I could run somebody's website because it's not natural for me and I'm not like amazing at it. So even at this point, I wouldn't do it.
Sorry, something just to quickly add to is like a nuance is that when you are working with clients, like that's a good question. Sometimes they will have a training, like a great benefit of being a VA is that you might get trained on something by working with the client. You know, that's just part of the job. And the client might even say like, hey, like I paid for this course. I want you to take it and then do this task for me. Yep. So yeah, everything Carly's saying.
I got paid in courses. Remember that, Victoria? I literally got paid. One of my first jobs, I got paid in an amazing, expensive course called Copy Cure. So that's a huge course. And so, yeah, definitely.
And one thing too that we have we didn't go through like all of the bonuses in our course. Like if you go to the page, you'll see like kind of the outline. And we just kind of keep adding things to it. But one PDF resource we do have in there is a copy of the best free online trainings we found. So that's a great place to start. It's in the course, but it's just kind of a whole link. And then we keep it updated as we know things change or we see more that are free courses that are good places to start. And it's those basics that you were kind of mentioning, Crystal, like what is affiliate marketing? What is copywriting? You know, like customer care, all that sort of stuff. We keep saying social media, and I hate that that's like because I know some people really hate it, but it is very popular as a VA task. So I think that the big heart behind our course is the whole, like that proverb everyone loves, like you can teach a man, give a man a fish, you feed him a day, teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And that's kind of our thought with this course is like, let's just teach you what you need to know so you can build and then go out for the lifetime. But we definitely encourage people to be those go-getters and startups and take it in their own hands. And
well, and one of the things that I was going to say is like, if someone pitches to me and they say, hey, I just went through this course and I just finished this course. Like I know someone recently pitched me and it was like, I just finished this course. And they were saying, so I learned this skill by doing this course. And I was wondering if I could work for you. I would like to give you 5 hours for free or something like that. And so to me, that showed a lot of character, that they were not only, they went out, they invested in a course and then they went through the entire course. And then they're saying, so I'm going to take what I learned from that course and I want to work for you for free. So do you see how that catches my attention, because that shares a lot about that person and their character. And so think about how you can pitch yourself. Someone was just, Hannah asked, what if the business doesn't know or hasn't advertised to need a VA, but you would like to offer? I never advertise. I never advertise because I want to find people who, a lot of times I'm finding them on my own. I'll see someone like Katie who works for me full time now. She is my project manager, and I saw her blog and I saw that she was doing a really amazing job on her blog, and I loved what I saw there. And I knew that she had taken these 3 or 4 courses from my friend Caitlin on proofreading and transcription. And I knew that they were really comprehensive courses, and I knew that there was a lot of effort to go through that. And then she was doing some work for my friend Caitlin, and Caitlin was just raving about this work that she was doing for her. And so I pitched to Katie. I said, hey, I know this is randomly out of the blue and you don't really know me, but I'm really impressed with what I see you doing online. Would you be interested in working for me for 5 to 10 hours a week? And that ended up turning into, now she's one of my full-time employees. And so I think that sometimes the company doesn't know they need what you have to offer. And so if you go to them and you present it to them, not like, hey, I can do anything for you, would you please pay me? Because I've had a lot of people pitch me like that, where it's like, basically I read that as they desperately need money. And which I know it sounds really blunt, but that's the truth. And so I would rather somebody pitch me that they're saying, hey, we saw you have this need in your business that no one is fulfilling right now. For instance, like I've had people pitch me recently saying, we would love to make Facebook videos for you, taking your recipes that you have on your blog, and we're going to turn them into videos. And here's some examples of our work that we've done. And here's the kind of shares that they've gotten. And we're seeing that no one is doing that for you right now. Well, I'm going to pay a lot more attention to that, because they're thinking outside the box and showing me there's this need that I have that I don't know that I have, and they have the skills and the experience to help me fulfill that need. So think about ways that you can pitch yourself like that. And just know that not everybody who is not, because they haven't put out a job application or a job search or a help wanted sign, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not looking for people or that they don't have needs in their business. Most flourishing businesses could always use some more help. And so, just know that. But I think that you think about how you're pitching it in a way that's really going to be interesting and catch their attention and show that you've gone out of your way to, know what you're talking about, and show some willingness to really want to bring value to that business.
And Crystal, could I ask you real quick? I think too, so we talk a ton about that especially in the bonus that they're getting right now, is that how to write that email. Do you think that if they had pitched you and said, I took this course on how to be a good VA, I'm now like a trained VA, you can check out the course I took, over here, would that have made a difference for you too?
Yes, absolutely. Because to me, that shows that they're willing to go out and put in some effort themselves. And so that's where I think there's so much value here, if you say, I'm willing to fork out some money and my time because I want to do this well. That says a lot more than all the time I get pitched with, hey, I just lost my job and I don't really know how to work online, but I like your blog. So all the time, I kid you not, all the time. So can I do something for you? And I'm like, no, but I'm sure you're a nice person, but you didn't tell me what you could do for me, and you didn't give me any reason to hire you. So just think about that, but if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I just took this course, I really am excited about being a VA, and here's some, my skill set, and I'd like to do the 5 hours free for you, and here's what I'd like to do because I see that you have a need for XYZ. I mean, seriously, if you go comb my blog, you're going to find lots of needs that I have there. But it's like, because none of us are doing things perfectly or well in all the areas. And so I think finding those needs and finding a way that you're saying, I want to help you with this, and I'm willing to, I put forth the effort to learn to take this course, and I would like to give you the 5 hours for free or whatever. So I think it's all in how you pitch yourself. And so that's why I love how you guys are teaching people how to pitch well, because I could write a whole course on how not to pitch, because I've pretty much seen it all. Like in the last class, I talked about how I've had multiple cover letters where people spelled my blog name wrong. They did a completely different blog. Because then you could tell they probably sent out a bunch of these, or they spelled my name wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, this is your cover letter. And they'll say like, I want to do copywriting for you. And I'm like, I'm not even going to look at your resume at this point because you kind of missed some things in your cover letter. So
yeah. And one idea for people too of like getting that experience even is like you can volunteer, maybe it's like a church or maybe there's an organization you volunteer with. You could take our course and then say like, hey, I have these new skills and this interest. Can I, test out with whatever? We've had a couple people in our Facebook group recently, or one person this week say that like her church approached her, was like, hey, we hear you're VA. Will you work on our website? And so she was really floored by that. But that's experience, like if you don't feel like you could start a blog, even if that, I think that's a great recommendation, Crystal. But even if that's maybe intimidating for someone, you can always offer the service to something like a church or a school or an organization, and build up those skills that way. Like that's such a good idea.
Yeah. And I think the other cool thing is you could put it out to just your network of people. You could post on Facebook and say, I took this course and I want to get some experience under my belt and I need to build my portfolio. Do any of you have some online work that I could do to help you with, just to get experience? Yep. And so that, you make sure that you're not going to be doing this charity work for forever for
right. I mean, right.
money, but you sometimes, just to get your feet wet and to then be able to go to other people and say, so I've worked for these 3 different businesses and they, here's the letters of recommendation, that sort of thing. So putting it out there and you never know, from just putting it out there in your own social network, you might end up getting jobs from that end up being great clients. So someone asked me what I use virtual assistants for. And so I thought it might be fun for me to actually wrote a list in a post. I'm pulling this post up to just tell you what I currently use virtual assistants for. So I have 3 full-time employees, and one of them lives in Washington State. To make sure if that's correct because she just moved. Thanks for Washington State. And then one lives in Florida, and then one lives here. So I only have 1 local employee, and then I have multiple, I think it's 7 other contractors that work for me part-time. So pretty much everybody on my team is virtual. And so we use virtual assistants for graphic design, website maintenance, customer service, troubleshooting tech issues, issuing refunds, answering customer questions. For my blog post, I have 2 girls who help find, vet, and draft the deal post. They respond to the comments. I have someone who helps design graphics for the post. On Facebook, I have help with scheduling posts, responding to comments, even boosting posts and watching the boosted posts to see how well they're performing and decide if we need to add more money to them to boost them more. Facebook advertising, setting up ads, and watching and tracking the results. I have someone who tracks all of our income, all of our traffic every single day, and sends reports out to the team every day of all of those numbers. So if you're a numbers person, that's something that a lot of businesses don't think about, how they need to be tracking all their numbers. And it's really important to have those graphs and the spreadsheets on all of that. That's made a huge difference for our business. With email, I have help with answering questions from readers, keeping my email organized, fielding complaints. I love it that I have people who help field the complaints, and setting up email newsletters. Then with advertising and marketing, we have 2 people on my team who are talking with potential advertisers, negotiating contracts, and keeping all of the details straight for advertising in the ad buys and sponsored post. And then product creation, helping me create course content, managing and running the details of a course launch, and setting up all the details for affiliates. So there's a lot of other little things, but that just gives you an idea of like, so basically my whole business is run virtually. And it's really cool. I mean, it's pretty crazy that the whole business can be run like that. And it just, we don't even use any sophisticated systems, and we don't do a lot of video chats or anything like that. And we all just kind of work in our own separate sections or whatever, and it works really well. And so I just, that answers whoever asked that question. But I think it's really, amazing just with modern technology how a business can survive and function and be successful without having an actual office space with people who are working in it. Okay, so a couple more questions, and I know it's 9:30, so I want to respect people's time. But Sophie asked to tell more about the Facebook group with the course, because I think that that's a huge, huge benefit to your course, and I'd love for you guys to share more about that.
Yeah, our Facebook group is wonderful. It's something you can only access if you are a student of the course, but basically it is just a community of students. We toyed with the idea of having some businesses in there, but our VAs told us like, no, that kind of weirds me out because I want to have a safe space for questions. Yeah, obviously it's getting late, sorry. But the community is it's getting really tight, which is awesome. And people can ask questions like, hey, I got this pitch, I got this, response back from a pitch I sent. I'm not quite sure how to respond. Or do you think this job is valid? I mentioned it quickly in the presentation, but we post job opportunities. Both Carly and I, we also have a couple of kind of our raving fans who we love, who will kind of keep an eye out for jobs and post them. Just kind of like, hey, heads up, this group had a great job today or whatever. And so, yeah, we have a student who said that she's gotten at least like 3 solid clients from our group, just being in our group, like us posting jobs, kind of coaching people through the process. Something too that we're starting new next month, which I'm excited about, is office hours. So that means Carly and I will be live in the group answering questions. That's going to be our first one, is actually going to be the first week of February. Is that right, Carly?
Yep.
So if you get the course now, like, you will be able to benefit from that, our first ever office hours, which will be fun. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
Well, I think one of my favorite things is that because they're all starting out. So even people that have been in, a VA for maybe 6 months or a year, they're still fairly new. So what's so cool is I love it. We obviously love it when our students come in and like, I got a job, that's the best. And we all celebrate. That's the best. But what else happens is they're like, guess what I learned today? And then they'll tell us, someone this week was like, I learned how to make a zip file. Well, if you've never had to send a giant amount of information, you've probably never made a zip file, right? So you don't know how to do that. So they share these cool things that they're learning. So everybody benefits from everybody's skills. So it's so cool. It's like the best place to learn. And if you need to know something, so this week someone said they pitched to their church that they wanted to help with the website. And then she came and she's like, I don't really know how to do that. And we were like, that's okay, because we can all teach you how to do that. It's fine. There's enough of us in here that know how to do it. We'll walk you through and give you the tools. And so I think the community, they're so encouraging, so supportive. It's not a competitive group. It's very much like we're all here for each other kind of group.
Yeah. And it is like, we're saying help, but again, it's not in like a hand holding, like we're with you every day, every hour. It's just kind of like, okay, you do this work, ask a question, you do the work, ask a question. Because that doesn't benefit anyone, when you're kind of like holding hands the whole way. We're kind of just really there as that support and the new information, which is great. I mean, Carly and I are still learning new things. So we'll kind of post that when we learn something new, like, hey, I figured out you can schedule post in groups, Facebook groups, which was super exciting. So little things like that. Yeah, just to add that in. And someone actually, I think we got an email, Crystal, from Tuesday. Someone had asked me like, oh, your group sounds great, but does that mean that a lot of people don't get jobs because you're all applying to the same job? And that's not been our experience. Of course, like, I'm sure there have been jobs where multiple people from our group applied and only one person got it, because that's just the nature of employment. But again, I think what's cool is you keep that momentum going. Like, here's a job, let's apply. Here's another job, let's apply. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. And it just builds the confidence. And we've kind of hinted at this too as we've been talking, but don't ever underestimate the power of your social network and the work that you do. So we always want people to have that pride in their work and just the confidence that, like, I did a good job here. I can keep moving on, even if it's a pitch email, because you don't know, like, maybe a year later, someone will find it again in their inbox and say, oh, hey, yeah, I'll write back to that girl. Or, or it could be like, oh, I don't need a VA, but my friend does. So we're really just trying to help people cultivate that like online professionalism, because it can be a little different and it can be intimidating if you're not used to it. My background is that I was like full-time in a marketing agency before I came home with kids. So I definitely like have somewhat of a different coming to VA work, but still it can feel weird if you're not sure like what's going on and you don't know like who all the people are, what niche is best for you to kind of start exploring. Like, is it the blogger niche? Is it the like wedding industry niche, which is huge?
Yeah.
So we just kind of are introducing that. It's just a place to like come get information and then like go forth and do good work. So we do really like our community.
Well, and I think the community aspect is so important, especially if you're doing online work, because it can sometimes feel lonely.
Yeah.
And it can just be hard. And some days you just have a rough day because maybe your kid is sick and you have a deadline, and maybe you got a not so nice email from a client, or you're just struggling with figuring out how to deal with a difficult situation or something. And I think having that safe space where you can go and it's other people, they get you. And I think that that's what's really cool. And I think also then there's so much more, when there's, as a community, you're going to be able to learn so much more together collectively than you would learn on your own. And so I think of, like you were talking about, learning these new skills and then sharing them with other people. And I think that's, we do that on the team so much of the time, where it's like, one person needs to figure out how to do something. And so then we all kind of crowdsource it. They'll email 4 or 5 people and say, I can't figure out how to do this. We need to do this. And we'll all kind of pitch in and do some, research and then be like, here, let's try this. And we'll come up with a solution. Where if you're on your own trying to figure out how to deal with the situation, or, what is the solution for this problem, or what should you use for whatever, what's the best system or software for this, that's going to be a lot harder. And it's so much better when you can have other people who have gone this road before you, and then you can tap into that. I remember when I was a new blogger and just thinking, I just wish that I knew somebody else who had been blogging longer than me, and I could just ask them, so what do you do in this situation? And so I think that this Facebook group, that's such a huge aspect of having that ongoing support of people who get you and who are with you and who are going to encourage you in this process. Even on the good days, they can celebrate with you, and on the hard days, they can kind of commiserate with you and be that cheerleader and that encourager to you.
Yep.
Okay, so there's so many other questions, but I think we're gonna cut it off here because we could go on for a lot longer. But maybe you guys could give a final wrap up. I know there's a giveaway, and also let people know if they have other questions where they could direct those to, and kind of where they can follow you, find you online, and all that, so that we don't just leave people hanging if they have burning questions still.
Yeah, good idea.
I'll let you wrap up, Carly, but one thing we wanted to mention is that we, it's kind of a treat to all the Money City Moms watchers. We are going to compile some of those top Qs, like FAQs, and then send them out like in a kind of PDF. Maybe give us like 2 weeks-ish or so to kind of get all that compiled with RVA, but that was definitely something we had in the works. So we'll be excited to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, so that'll be coming. But Carly, take us home.
Thanks, Victoria. And thank you, Crystal, so much. You guys, Crystal is you're just such a blessing, I think, to so many moms. And I just think of you as a champion of moms. And I just love it. And women in general. And that is something we did actually want to mention. I actually saw a comment on Crystal's blog where someone said, does it have to be a mom? And no, 100% no. The answer is no. The reason Victoria and I are moms work hard is that's our space. We are moms, that's what we think and breathe and eat. But VA work is obviously not just for moms. The course is not just for moms. We talk a lot about mom schedules because so much of mom life is mom guilt, right? And how do I balance all those things? So that is a lot of what we talk about, but the skills are not only for moms. They absolutely work for any VAs, anyone who wants to be a VA, and even the community. It's not mandatory to be a mom in any way. So I did want to just put that out there. But Crystal, thanks so much. Thanks for being a champion of all these ladies who want to live, in a frugal way, in a way that's honoring to their income and to their budgets. And then also now who want to learn how to make some money from home. So it's just so exciting. You guys have been amazing. So, okay. So to find us, if you want to talk about payment plan, or if you just have another question that we didn't answer, you can just email hello@momsworkhard.com and that will get to us. You can reply to any of those emails we've sent you in this week. That will get to us too. We're on Facebook at Moms Work Hard. And then I think that's all we need to tell you to contact us. And then let's do the giveaway. So I have these beautiful planners right here. So this is so fun, you guys, because this is like one of my projects I got to work on with Beth Ann from Brilliant Business Moms. She's my client, friend, like Crystal, like we were talking about. We just love her to pieces. And she developed this planner, and then it's just been so fun to be part of this project and getting it in the hands of so many women. And it's so unique. There's goal setting stuff in front that helps you track every single week. Am I making progress on my goals? Am I making progress on my goals? And I will tell you that Victoria had the idea for Moms Work Hard about a year ago. And because of this, we launched it last June. And it is literally because of this, because I'd get so discouraged that we weren't getting anywhere. And that I'd track my progress in my planner and I'd be like, oh, we did get somewhere. And it might have just been create a graphic or make a slideshow or send an email. That might have been all it was, but that was progress towards this goal. So this has been a game changer for me. And I'm not a planner person by nature until I got this baby. So we have two. So this is the blue stripes one. And then this one is pink and white floral. And we're approaching sold out on these. So this is so kind of Beth Ann to allow us to give these away. And so our moderators chose, I think at random, these people. So Victoria, why don't you go ahead and do that?
Okay. Winner number 1 is Hannah Carlene.
Yay!
So congratulations, Hannah. And winner number 2 is Natalie B. Congratulations, Natalie.
Awesome. So email us. Yeah. Okay, sorry. You guys, we do talk over each other. Email us at hello@momsworkhard.com and tell us what you want, pink or blue. So we can send you either one, the pink one or the blue one. And it's okay if you guys both want the same cover. That's not a problem. And we will ship them to you. So yay, so fun.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for just being here and all the encouragement. It was so fun to read the chat and to see you all interacting with this and how much you were inspired by this. I loved seeing the comments of people being like, I have so much to go research and I'm going to go do this. And I want to hear from you if because of this class, you go out and get a VA client, please, please, please shoot me a message on social media or email me, because I want to know, because I want to celebrate with you, because that's really, really exciting. And so I can't wait to see how you get clients and your business grows and all of that as a result of this class. And once again, if you haven't checked out the Moms Work Hard course, I just really, really, really encourage you to do that. I think it is so valuable, so worth your $95. And to think that you could invest that time and make that back in a week. I mean, where else do you get to invest in something and then be able to have pretty much the guarantee that you could make that back in a week? And then think about how much you can, make that back in a month and a year and 5 years. It's kind of crazy. So the investment, your return on your investment is incredible of this product. And I also just think Carly and Victoria, I have to tell you guys, they are the most amazingly gracious people to work with. I think what we dealt with on Tuesday night was pretty much insanity, and they have just had the most cheerful, positive attitudes throughout it. And I have worked with a lot of people in my 15 years of being online and business stuff. And I have just been blown away with how kind and gracious and bending over backwards and just being positive and being encouraging and not being frustrated or stressed or anything. And so I think, oh my goodness, I want to go sit and learn under these people. And so you're going to get so much of that as being part of their course and being part of their Facebook group and the ongoing support that they're going to give you. So if you haven't done so, go check out the course, and I hope that you're able to sign up for it and that it's going to impact your life in a really amazing way. And maybe at the end of this year, you can be like, look, we paid off $5,000 worth of debt or $10,000 worth of debt just because I went to that class and I bought that course and I did the work, and look how it has impacted our family. So thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great night, and we'll see you around the internet.